Good afternoon to all my friends in Plaza Tower. This is Congressman Nathaniel Moran. Although I wish I could be with you all today to celebrate Independence Day, I'm in D.C. working on behalf of our community. But believe me when I say I'd much rather be with all of you today. Thanks to Garnet and Andy for inviting me to speak today, even though it's through video. It's the best I could do. I hope next year I can be with you in person. Listen, I know that the 4th of July is still a week away, but that just means we have a little more time to reflect on the importance of the holiday before we get swept up in our community gatherings, our fireworks, and our cookouts. So here's what I hope you will reflect on over the next week. Here's my message to you. The independence of America, won during the revolutionary times, was never a foregone conclusion, and it certainly didn't come without personal sacrifice. Likewise, the future independence of America is not a foregone conclusion and will not come without equal personal sacrifice. That's the key message today. In 1776, our founding fathers penned our inspiring and treasonous Declaration of Independence in response to a tyrannical government that didn't understand that liberty comes from God, not a king. Our forefathers had a yearning from deep within their hearts, their minds, and their souls to break free from the bonds of man and to embrace a future of freedom. The Declaration of Independence reaffirmed the truth that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But this assertion was made knowing that those who made it might have to give their lives and every ounce of liberty that they wanted for their own lives to see that it came true for others. It's selfless sacrifice at its best. This assertion comes also with the understanding that every generation will need to defend these rights, carrying this mantle onward for our children and our grandchildren. Without such continued sacrifice, freedom will certainly be lost. So this holiday reflects the unique ideals of our country and what it was founded upon. It provides a time to reflect on the precious God-given rights that we have been blessed with as Americans. In 1986, President Ronald Reagan painted a timeless picture of the signing of Declaration of Independence, describing it this way. He said, quote, 56 men came forward to sign the parchment. It was noted at the time that they pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. And that was more than just rhetoric. Each of those men knew the penalty for high treason to the crown, end quote. This dedication to the cause of freedom is just as important today. We could not celebrate the 4th of July without showing our appreciation to those who have served and continue to serve in uniform. Without their dedication and resilient character, the country that was founded 248 years ago would not be standing today. So to our military members, we express our gratitude for your service to our country. The bravery you demonstrate is vital to our democracy, for strengthening and keeping it. Our founding fathers sparked the revolution, but it was up to those who served to establish our independence, not just to declare it. From those who spearheaded the revolution with a pen to those who wore a uniform on the battlefield, many have contributed to the founding of this great nation. But the question for you today, the question for me today is, what part will we play? Each of us can play our own part, whether giving our time to serve our neighbor, our church, or our community, or educating ourselves about the issues and advocacy for policies consistent with the ideals of freedom, or perhaps building our businesses to help provide opportunities for those employed, or perhaps engaging in acts of generosity out of the abundance and prosperity that we each enjoy. There are a number of ways that we can play our part for the cause of freedom. And I'm proud to tell the many stories of those of you in this room who are already doing so many things to do just that. So keep it up. Each of you is an example of how we should live our lives for this republic to continue as it was intended. In 1792, James Madison wrote, quote, in Europe, charters of liberty have been granted by power. America has set the example of charters of power granted by liberty. This revolution in the practice of the world may, with honest praise, be pronounced the most triumphant epic of its history and the most consoling presage of its happiness, end quote. America was brave as it took its first step to freedom. Let us each embody that same courage and faith of our founding fathers and those who came after them. At times, it can feel like we are plagued with adversity at home and around the world. But throughout our history, America has faced many trials and triumphs. Our ideals have been challenged, and yet the American people have united time and again to stand firmly in the face of those who have threatened our liberties. Recognizing our darkest days as a nation helps to bring a future of light. As we each reflect over the next week on the true meaning of the 4th, let us each purpose to never take our freedom for granted. It is this very freedom that has allowed us all to gather today to recognize our blessings as Americans. I leave you with this famous quote from Ronald Reagan that I know you are all familiar with. Here's what he said: "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same." So join me in rededicating ourselves to do just that. The 1st District of Texas can lead the way, and it can start in this very room with all of you, my friends. I hope to see you all soon, but until that time, just know that I'm thinking of you, that I miss you, and I value the chance to serve you in Congress. God's richest blessings and protection for each of you and for America. I'll see you soon. Happy Independence Day.